Hello and welcome to another Quocirca Quick Take, where today we'll be discussing Sharp's Inspire Expo that was held in Lisbon last week. We'll be discussing four key takeaways from the event, covering OneSharp, Sharp DX, sustainability, and also their new Synapse ecosystem. So I'm joined by Helen Hopper, and we'll be discussing some of those areas in a bit more detail. So Helen, welcome. We had a great time last week, didn't we, at the event?
We did. It was extremely well organised, and there was an awful lot of information, but delivered in a very sort of measured and considered way. So there was a lot to unpack.
I guess the purpose of Inspire Expo was for Sharp Europe to bring together, I think it was 400 dealers. So we joined the day after that, which was for media and analysts. And it was really great to hear Joe Tomuta talk about this vision for OneSharp, the kind of stronger together philosophy for their channel partners as well. So what were your thoughts on this OneSharp vision? Because I think it's something that they've been working on for a while, but I think it's really culminated now in this new vision and this new brand strategy. And I think it's a really exciting time for Sharp.
It really is. I think it's a really pivotal moment for the organisation. There's clearly been a lot of thought that's gone into this and consideration. Joe was quick to emphasise that they've done a lot of research with customers and with their channel partners to make sure that the principles behind OneSharp are ones that will resonate as they move forward. So definitely a lot of thinking behind that. And the sort of sense you got from everyone there was that there's real buy-in from all the employees, and from what they said the response from the channel had been very positive. So I think this is it's a really great step and a really great new chapter for Sharp.
Yeah, and one thing I really liked was that Sharp Europe really recognised the need to move from hardware product-centric business models to more consultative sales models, which is really something that is needed with their IT services approach. And this is probably a good time to discuss Sharp DX, which is Sharp Digital Experience. And this new branding is essentially bringing together their three IT services acquisitions: Complete IT, IT Point in Switzerland, and Apsia in France. And those acquisitions have been made over the last few years. And Sharp DX is now bringing those three businesses together. And I believe that those employees that have come from those acquisitions are now very well integrated. They understand the Sharp culture, but equally, they're also bringing a new, more dynamic, younger demographic and culture to Sharp Europe. And yeah, interested in your thoughts of that.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yes, talking to Joe Tomoza around the event, he was sort of seemed really enthused by the younger generation that was coming into the business and bringing in ideas. I think what's quite impressive really is that with the acquisition of these businesses, they all bring their own culture, their own customer relationships and their own way of doing things. And sometimes that can be difficult for large organisations to integrate, but there seems to have been a lot of respect amongst the Sharp leadership organisation for the power of the relationships and the ways of working. So, having talked to the principals of the organisations that were acquired, even though they've taken different routes into being integrated, they both all seem very happy with that. And so that seems to be, creating a foundation on which they can build the Sharp DX sort of message and platform going forward. And this will all be supported as well by the Warsaw Technology Centre, the SOC that's there, which is also getting investment as part of the sort of the coming year. So they were quite excited about the opportunities for cross-border support that they'll be able to offer, but also that customers have not seen a jarring change in how things are done. It's been very much business as usual, but better, which is quite refreshing to hear, because it's not always the way with acquisitions.
Yes, and I think, typically in the print industry, we've seen a lot of IT services acquisitions over the years with mixed success. And it's almost like Sharp has made some great progress and they've actually succeeded, where others have not failed, but, not been able to drive those synergies across their traditional business and their IT services business. And I think it's going back to that thoughtful and considered approach, and they haven't rushed into it, but they are ready now to make this bigger integration. And as you say, their customers are on board with it because of the trust they already have.
That's right.
The Sharp legacy brand.
And trust was an important pillar of the OneSharp proposition as well. So it's certainly all aligning at this stage, certainly.
Yes, and I just wanted to touch on the IT services, their partnership with Microsoft, because they are now a designated Microsoft solutions partner. And I think, again, that's another opportunity for Sharp to really show how it's diversifying and engaging with a different client base, but under the broader Sharp brand. So there will be more details in our article, which may have been published when this goes out, which will have more details about all the press releases that they announced. So we've covered OneSharp, Sharp DX or Sharp Digital Experience, and that's about unifying IT services. I wanted to touch on the Signaps ecosystem because, again, that's something that they've brought to market over the past few years. And again, not necessarily first to market in the industry. There's lots of cloud print solutions and managed print applications. But what I thought was really interesting was, again, they've waited till they feel their market is ready and they're ready with the right tools. And we did see a preview of the cloud capture solution, which has got AI capability. So what are your thoughts on that? Because it did seem a very simple and flexible tool for both partners and end users.
Exactly. And I think that's sort of the important thing is that you can develop a solution, but if it's not simple to deploy and it's not easy and intuitive for users to understand, they are going to struggle to see or pick up and roll out. But what we saw was a very simple, straightforward solution that partners will be able to sell on the benefits of sort of instant improvements to processes, accuracy, automating workflows with AI, but in a way that is one of the things you think that AI really is useful for and really ought to be doing. So, there was a lot of enthusiasm from the team about that. And then also the Cloud Print 1.7 solution, which is embedding scanning, and it's also introducing identity provider support as well. And that really underpins the recognition of devices as part of a much broader digital ecosystem and the ambition to really integrate the devices and make sure that they can be contributing to workflow productivity, efficiency improvements for customers. So, again, another good development and step along the road towards where Sharp wants to go.
Yeah, and as you say, a really great opportunity for Sharp dealers and channel partners, because when we were having the discussion with Jason, he really highlighted how they're moving to monetizing scan. And I think this is really great for channel partners because in the past, scans have been given away for free. And it can be a challenge to start charging for that. But very much with this cloud AI-based solution, they're moving to charges per scan. Again, more details in the article. But I think that's an opportunity for those dealers to build more recurring revenue opportunities through a different type of model than with traditional MPS contracts.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that ongoing partnership aspect as well with refining workflows, introducing new features. And once there is that on-ramp, then there's, lots more opportunity for providing consultancy, which again is the direction Sharp wants everybody, partners itself, its dealers to be moving in. So that's all positive.
Yeah. So finally, I think it's really useful to talk about sustainability progress. We've obviously been tracking Sharp for a while in terms of its ESG credentials and progress it's making around sustainability of its MFP portfolio. So they made quite a few announcements around the new range, and one being that they've now got 50% PCR materials within the new products, which I think now will be the benchmark. So I know you've got some interesting thoughts on that, but I think that really shows how Sharp are really listening to the market, and they recognise the need to innovate around sustainability with their products.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sharp is listed as a major player in our sustainability rankings, but they're definitely heading in the right direction. The new range has the best-in-class tech values, that 50% PCR, and it's not the easiest thing these days to source the right level of quality PCR to go in devices. So it's a commitment to saying that, all future devices potentially could be using that as a benchmark. I think Sharp has some quite ambitious corporate targets as well for carbon neutrality and net zero. Some of them are leading the industry. So certainly they are adding the sustainability benefits to the portfolio. And as we know, sustainability as a decision factor rises and falls with political, commercial ambitions, but it still seems to sustain a level of interest amongst customers. So certainly that it's definitely the right thing to be doing, as well as a good commercial thing to be doing, to keep incorporating these features in the devices. And I believe also the Signaps solution is now also including sustainability reporting as well. So again, that's another feature that's useful for customers and for partners who want to help their customers become more sustainable in their operations.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Signaps ecosystem is really going to be a key differentiator for Sharp, because that green reporting or environmental reporting, as you say, will help their customers and also dealers present opportunities for reducing waste within their print environments. And, equally, the geopolitical situation at the moment means sustainability is changing on the agenda depending on the region. But as you say, it's still very closely linked with commercial performance and also helping organizations reduce costs by minimizing waste and improving the sustainability of their organization. So we still see it as a primary motivator when selecting print technology. So it was great to see that. And again, we've got that covered in our article in more detail. So I think that wraps it up. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to say. For me, I think I went to Sharp Inspire Expo a few years ago, and you can really see that the big change that was, prior to a lot of these IT acquisitions. And you can see also from Joe's perspective, he really understands the need to move from this, as I said, product-centric, hardware-centric model to more consultative, customer-centric models. And they really recognize that demographics are changing in terms of stakeholders, not only within their own employee base, but also customer base. And probably worth just adding around their sort of some of their marketing initiatives, their planning around, I think they're sort of integrating their LinkedIn social media, but also starting to advertise on Reddit and some TikTok, to attract this younger generation. And I think that's something that the whole industry needs to do. And it's great to see Sharp taking a lead there and really recognizing the need to resonate with those younger demographics.
Absolutely, yeah. And certainly as they've got sort of a younger demographic of employee coming through to attract more talent to the brand, Sharp does have an opportunity, if it can get in there and get this right, to create an attractive brand that people want to work for, sort of built on the legacy and the history, which is something that the acquired IT services organizations pointed to as a pro, but also to not be constrained by that, to be bold and confident in moving forward. And there certainly was a really lovely, warm and enthusiastic energy about the whole event. And so really look forward to see how they are going to progress in the years ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll put some details in the show notes for the article and any other links to press releases. Thanks very much, Helen, for joining me. And I look forward to speaking about the next event on another Quocirca Quick Take.
Excellent. Thanks, Luella.